Okay. Today on Canadian Living Television, we heal back pain naturally.
For 3 years, I couldn't work as a physician. I was hooked on drugs. I was depressed. I was even suicidal.
Opa, we entertain Greek. Hi, I'm Debbie Van Kiekebel. Welcome to Canadian Living Television. Oh, my aching back. Well, up until recently, I had no idea what real back pain meant. But for the last couple of months, like many Canadians, I've been trying to cope with back and neck problems. With me today is Dr. Art Brownstein, the author of Healing Back Pain Naturally. I don't know, can you heal it naturally?
You most definitely can.
Now, I want to go back because I know your history. You have suffered severe back pain, you have had surgery, you have done almost everything. How did you come to realize that you can take care of your back, have a healthy back, without all of that?
Well, it was largely out of desperation. After my first operation was unsuccessful, I became a chronic pain patient. For 3 years, I couldn't work as a physician. I was hooked on drugs, I was depressed, I was even suicidal, and I was offered a second operation after the first one, and that was my wake-up call. I essentially got on an airplane, left the country, ended up in the Far East and in India, and exposed myself to things that were completely opposite to what I'd learned in medical school. But
didn't that go against the grain? I mean, your father was a doctor.
Exactly.
You're a traditional doctor.
Yes.
How do you open your mind up? Does pain do that to you?
It most certainly does, and again, it was out of a spirit of desperation, and what I learned was so simple and easy that I was almost outraged that my colleagues in my profession were not sharing these very simple, fundamental principles with the population that they were supposed to serve.
Well, let's look at those principles. Tell me about them.
Very, very straightforward. The first and most important component of the back for determining the health of your back are the role of your muscles. When somebody has back pain and they go into the doctor's office, you take an x-ray. That shows the bones, not the muscles.
Right.
Your muscles are 40% of your body weight and your bones are only 18%. It's the muscles that move the bones and shape the bones and determine the alignment of the bones in your spine.
And the bones don't feel the pain.
There's no pain receptors in bone. The pain receptors are in the muscle tissue. Your body's trying to tell you where the problem is. Most people can't believe that a muscle can hurt that bad because back pain is excruciating. But the back muscles sit right on top of the spinal cord, so they're about 20 times more sensitive than any other muscle in the body.
So when you can't find those muscles, or you can't diagnose that pain, how do you go about fixing it?
Well, you have to listen to your pain and listen to your body. And you have to look at why North Americans have more back pain than any other country in the world. Third world countries have virtually no back pain. We spend a lot of time sitting, and the back muscles don't get used. They atrophy. That means they get weak and they get tight and stiff. You add the element of stress, which works because your brain is connected to your muscles through your nervous system. When a nerve fires, the muscle contracts and shortens. That compresses the spine and squeezes on those discs.
But people get very upset, don't they, when a doctor says to them it could be stress-related. We don't quite realize how huge a factor stress can be on our physical being.
Well, I think people get more upset after they've been operated on and they're in worse pain than before the operation, which happened to me. So these are very simple principles that people can apply to their life. Looking at your diet, which is something that's been totally neglected because doctors are not taught nutrition in medical school. People drink a lot more coffee and Cokes and smoke cigarettes. We know that the caffeine and nicotine are central nervous system stimulants which can compress the spine through these same mechanisms. And also making sure you get enough fluid and fiber. We eat a lot more fast food. We don't get enough fluid. That leads to constipation and gas. These accumulate toxins in the system which have a direct bearing on your back. And coming back to this mind-body mechanism, we have a very corporate mentality. We're workaholics. Everything is serious.
We live to work, not
life
work to
and
live.
death. We've got to slow down. We live at a very torrid pace. Your back is telling you, slow down, because back pain always happens at the most inopportune time when you cannot afford to slow down.
Okay, so if you were dealing with somebody, say if you were talking to me, because I'm going through this, would you say, first of all, Debbie, I want you to look at your diet, get rid of caffeine, as you said, get rid of all these stimulants, start to cleanse yourself from the inside.
Start to stretch those muscles gently and slowly. Focus on your breathing, which is the link between your mind and your body. When you're under stress, your breathing is very shallow and rapid. We are totally unconscious of our breathing, and these are fundamental principles in Chinese medicine and Indian medicine and most of the other countries in the world, which we have to respect their traditions.
So if you were sitting, we were sitting there, how would you show me how to breathe?
First of all, just put your hands right on your chest here,
okay,
and just to the side a little bit so you feel your ribs.
Right.
Most people don't know that every rib connects to a vertebrae in your back. Did you know that?
No, I didn't.
Okay, now take a nice slow deep breath through your nose and slowly breathe out. Okay?
Through your nose?
Through your nose, because your nose has special filters that clean the particles of the air. It warms the air. Your nose is meant for breathing and smelling. Your mouth is for speaking and eating. And
really?
as you breathe in...
So we're not even breathing right.
That's right. So as you slow your breathing and take nice, slow, deep breaths, and this is a very powerful technique that comes from the system of yoga, known as pranayama, or learning how to control your energy, you are actually moving the bones in your spine, and you're stretching the deep layers of muscle. Now, most doctors would say, well, this is too simplistic. Let's do something more high-tech like laser surgery or MRIs. No. Even if you're glued to the floor, you're in so much pain you can't even crawl down the hallway to the bathroom. You can do this very powerful breathing practice that's going to get in there and move the bones of your spine and stretch those muscles. This is a start. And you take this awareness of breath with you throughout the other stretches that you can do, including arching forward, which is arching backwards, which is a very important thing to counter all the sitting that we do. We sit in an enormous amount of time, and that causes these muscles to atrophy, which doesn't use them. We want to stretch and tone these muscles, restore the normal curves in the spine by arching back, and bring
So if we're sitting all this time, then we should be stretching while we're sitting.
Exactly.
I mean, if you're stuck in a desk, you're at a computer, make sure you take the time.
Exactly.
Okay.
Nobody should sit more than an hour at a time. Get up for 5 minutes and stretch.
Okay.
And look at the chair that you're sitting on. I, wrote this book over a 5-year period with a special chair where I was kneeling, like how the Japanese have their tea ceremonies. And so there's a lot of little things that we can do where you can take charge of your own health of your back. You don't need chiropractors or neurosurgeons. Okay, these people are fine as a backup, and I'm not saying that sometimes things don't get so far down the line that you do need surgery. But
you can't rely on them. I mean, you have to start to rely on what you can do yourself.
Debbie, this is your body. You're with it 24 hours a day. How are you going to take care of it? How are you going to listen to the pain that your back is telling you is a message from your body? We snuff out pain. Pain is bad. Let's take pain pills. You're missing valuable information when you do that. Listen to the pain. It's your body talking to you. Breathe.
Well,
relax,
I gotta tell you,
and stretch.
I love what you're saying, and I just looked over the book last night. I'm going to go through it thoroughly. I did my stretches. I'm going to keep it up, but I think this is a great alternative for people who are really looking for a way to take care of themselves. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you, Deb.
We'll be right back. Just a minute. Stay with us.